Hey, how can I help you?
What's going on, bro? I came up here to actually say, so it's really hard to actually argue the existence of God, so I'm not gonna even go there. But what I will say is the phrase humans cause climate change. What do you mean by that? Like all of us or some of us? Or just a general statement that yes, it was caused by us?
Human activity. The collective human activity is causing climate change in the modern day.
So you talking about like the fact that we have to like reduce CO2 emissions to save the earth type of climate change?
Yes.
So I had saw a video, right? And these people were in like in a Senate courthouse talking about climate change, and they said that the CO2 emissions. Well, before I even tell you that, what do you think the CO2 emissions, like the overall CO2 emissions over the Earth is? Like, what
So
is the percentage?
I know you're going with this. The
Mm-hmm.
the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere versus all other gases is about 0.04%. Now you're going to
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, that's small, Mike." But guess what? That 0.04% of the atmosphere is greenhouse gases, which is a very potent molecule that absorbs tons of CO2 and tons of infrared radiation from the sun. So it's not the amount that matters. It's the potency of that CO2 molecule. That's why we don't want any more CO2 in the atmosphere in current ways because it's causing a lot of warming. By the way, cyanide, even 100 parts per million or 0.01% of cyanide in your bloodstream can kill you because it's a potent molecule, right? That's the
Right.
thing. It's not the amount that matters as much as its potent level.
No, that makes sense. Now, what I was gonna say is that so the whole cause for climate change, or the whole objective for climate control, is to reduce the CO2 emissions
Yeah.
smaller than point 0.004%, and it was stated that if it gets any lower, once it hits point 0.002, no, once it, yeah 0.02%, um life ceases to exist on Earth. So I don't really know if the
Yeah.
idea of what we're trying to do with
There's
climate.
so that 0.04% is hundreds of billions of tons. And every year we emit about 50 billion tons. So we have to reduce it because even a 0.001% is a lot in terms of warming forcing, right? There's something called forcing. And in terms of all forcings on the earth, CO2 is the biggest driver of climate change. No other cause, no other forcing is as much as human activity. So, do you
I,
have an argument, or would you have a
I,
counter argument?
I, I just don't think that us reducing it the way we're trying to reduce it makes sense. If because you say, I understand you saying that 1% can be a lot, but what if that calculation is wrong? Just because they're
It's
going
not
they're
wrong. It's called mathematics and physics. We know how much we had to reduce it. We know how much we're causing in terms of warning. It's called ECS, or climate equilibrium, climate sensitivity. We can quite literally see how much warming we are causing. We also see
uh,
stratosphere cooling. That's evidence that we are causing warming because it's the CO2 and other greenhouse gases like methane and others that are causing the warming.
yeah, I understand that. So would you agree that in terms of understanding science and the would you agree that when it comes to understanding science and creation, or just life in general, that life science can always change because it's always inconsistent? We're always finding new things that prove something else.
Science, the method of science never changes. The results change as we learn new data about the world around us. We're always changing our understanding of the world. That's what you want in a good method. What you don't want is a method that never changes or never brings you new results. That's what you don't want, right? Because now you'll never know if you're wrong because you can never test your ideas. You can never falsify your ideas. And that's the problem with religion. That's the benefit of science. It's always gaining new data.
Right. So sometimes it's also gaining new data because the previous data was wrong. That's why I'm saying the data that we have
Yeah,
now
that's
could be
that's
wrong.
good. It's a self-improving mechanism that's always improving and getting better. Whereas religion will always be wrong.
Well, whatchamacallit, well, in terms of religion always be wrong, that's actually very complicated because there's two sides to that coin. There's people who are science majors and whatchamacallit are great minds to the people who are trying to like look into this type of stuff, and they also believe that science shows that there is a creator and stuff. Now I don't know if you
Okay,
believe
where?
if
Where,
you
where, where is the science that shows us a creator? Go ahead.
um well, for example, it's really, like I said, it's really hard to explain how science can show that there is a creator, but based on when you look at how things are structured, you can see that things are structured in a manner that seems to be perfect, especially if you look really deep into it. So for example, like they tell us, for example, H2O is what we need to hydrate us, right? Well, it's not 100% true, because when you look into the whole aspect of H2O and you look even further.
I'm not doing that. Next.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm good, I'm good. Hey, give me 1 second just to grab my headphones real quick. I was not expecting to go live this quickly. All right, I got him. So I'm curious on the go vegan bit, because I agree with you on the God is imaginary, evolution is a fact. Uh, yeah, I think humans do cause climate change. So on the go vegan part, I'm curious on what your stance is on that. What are the main reasons?
I don't want to harm animals, so I don't harm them.
Okay, okay,
That's
that's
that simple.
that's that's it. Just bottom line there. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's your stance on people like, hunting and foraging? Do you think uh people should have only been foraging and not hunting at all?
Oh, you talk about our ancestors?
Yeah, yeah. Just like from the
Well,
start with
our
people's
ancestors
discovery of that.
our ancestors had to do that to survive, and that's justified. But today, in the modern age, we have stores. We now have choices, and with choices comes responsibility.
Okay, okay. So there was an interesting point that was brought up. I spoke with another person who was vegan about the tremendous amount of dairy farms that we have in America. And not just America, but all over the world. But in America, particularly, that's the one I'm most familiar with. We have, I believe it's North Dakota, has more cows on farms than people in that state,
Yeah, yeah.
and that is a tremendous cause to the methane gases that we
Yeah,
have
sure. Yeah.
in our
Animal
world.
agriculture is 15% of the greenhouse gas emissions. It's a lot.
Yeah. So how would we manage those greenhouse gases if if we didn't have those slaughterhouses? How would we move on from
Go,
that to be able to
you,
control it?
you would go vegan. That's the best way. Veganism would minimize your carbon footprint by 75%. This is based on countless studies. Veganism is way better for the environment. It's way better for the animals because you're not harming them, you're not slaughtering them. Going vegan is the solution to those issues.
But if we're, I don't want to speak in such a morbid term, but if we're allowing those animals to live, they would continue to produce those greenhouse gases, right?
Yes, but guess what's happening? We're not taking them from the wild. We are breeding these animals in factories, like you said, in other states around the world. And that continuous cycle of producing animals and making them produce all this methane gas and greenhouse gas emissions, that comes with a lot of, resources that we're using to keep up the food supply, right, for to feed us. So if we stop that entire cycle, if we just stopped eating the animals, we would stop breeding them into existence. Hence, their numbers would slowly dwindle, less greenhouse gas emissions, and everybody would be better.
So just like, so your perspective is like just remove the fences, let them be free, and then that'll all fix
No,
itself
no, no, no,
in the
no.
meantime.
That's not what I said either. What I'm
Okay,
saying is
okay.
we should obviously be strategic when stopping animal farming. I think that we should have sanctuaries all across the world where we put the animals in and take care of them until they die naturally. But the solution again is always to go vegan because we want to stop the flow of chaos because that's what's happening. There's imagine like a big sewage pipe that's broken and it's flowing all across the world. Well, the first thing to do is to stop that, to stop the flow, right? That's what going vegan would do. It would stop the flow of all this shit.
Okay. So, I mean, it's absolutely. I agree that it's undeniable that human intervention has had a tremendous impact on the ecosystem
Okay, great. So
all over the world.
what is your argument today?
So, with the way that most humans eat, we are omnivores naturally. I have no problem eating meat. I personally, I understand the hypocrisy in my position of I don't want to kill an animal. So I understand that and I reconcile with that. What I'm curious to learn is your stances on what methods we can do to change that, to move towards that. I'm open-minded to potentially becoming vegan, but I do want to learn from somebody who is vegan.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. Congrats for at least being honest with us. Learn. The first step is learning. Educate yourself about animal agriculture. Educate yourself about the animals. Educate yourself about climate. Or educate yourself about food and what nutrition is and how that works. The more you learn, the more equipped you'll be to make decisions that are good. But I'm not here to help you right now. I'm here
That's
to get an
understandable.
argument, right? This is a debate stage. So
Okay.
you have an argument before I kick you?
Uh, uh, I think it's more of a stance that it hasn't really changed so much. I don't.
Okay, have a good day. So the next victim in here, keep tapping, guys, and please subscribe.
Oh, yo, hello.
Hey, how can you
What's
help?
up? Yo, can you just give me 1 minute of your time? That's all I ask.
Of course, yeah.
I just wanted to say I heard the other day on here that you were talking about towards the end of the live, you were going through some things, and I just wanted to tell you, I hope that it gets better. I'm not gonna say God bless you or try to force something upon you. I just wanted to say that I hope that gets better, and that you have a great day, and you don't deserve the hate just because you're challenging people's belief.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. You too. Hey, thanks for being nice at least. What about eating insects? I don't think we should be eating insects.
So, what you want to discuss? God is imaginary, vegan, or revolution?
Whatever your best argument is.
All the same. But let's start with evolution because I haven't heard you speak about evolution for some time. You are saying that evolution, whatever is true, what is true, what, because many of the evolution already assumptions already have been falsified. So I'm not sure what kind of evolution theory you are still believing in. Are you oh, we look like monkeys, so we look alike, so we come from monkeys? What's the newest theory?
Okay,
So I can-
sir, please hold on. What to you is evolution?
No, you tell me. All the evolution.
No, look.
I know all the evolution theories,
Sir,
so I'm not sure.
Please, you have the argument against it, right? You should know what it is.
Yeah. No, it's not like all this evolution has endless kind of assumptions, and all of them turn.
Which one? What assumptions does evolution make that cannot be verified?
Everything. But the thing is, the evolution person who speaks about evolution tries to depend on the negligence of his opponent. He's like, oh,
please, just give me a specific example.
Let's start. For example, let's start by anything you want about the evolution. What theory you want to discuss?
Sir, you cannot debate if you don't even know what you're attacking. So either define what you mean by evolution or go away. All right, I'm not going to debate somebody who
So
doesn't know what evolution
I
is.
mean, like you do you believe like because like we look like monkeys, like or with the
Have a good
DNA
day,
or
sir.
the
Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. You can't debate something you don't even know. Okay, you have to know what you're talking about before you can debate.
Good evening, Mark.
Hey, how can I help you?
Okay, so he got like a little list going on here. The humans cause climate change. I agree. I agree with that one. Go vegan. I agree with that one. It is not right to kill
Okay,
animals.
great. So just get to the argument now.
All right. Why do you believe God is imaginary?
There's no evidence for it. And how old are you?
I'm 23,
What year were you born?
2002.
Wait a minute. Does that make no? Doesn't make any sense? That'd be 22, right? Yeah. You'd be at max 22. Hey,
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, how can I help you?
Okay, can I ask you why you went vegan, if that's okay?
Yeah, there's no I don't want to harm animals if I don't have to.
Okay, so you believe that it's like moral to not hurt animals, right?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 18,
What year were you born?
2005.
All right. Yeah, so I don't want to harm animals if I don't have to. So why do you think we should harm animals?
Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if you think it's immoral to not hurt animals, then if like I don't know, I don't understand how you could believe in morals if you don't believe in God.
Morality comes from my survey of my surroundings. I survey my surroundings and I look at the consequences to my actions. If I hurt you and you go, "Ow, don't do that," I listen to you, right? So morality comes from my brain. I look around the world, I use my thinking faculties, my emotion, my empathy, and I gauge what to me I think is wrong or good. I don't need God for that.
Okay, but how do you know that any of that is like meaningful if there is no God?
Because meaning does not come from God. Meaning comes from the interactions we have with each other. It's subjective. I don't need God to be happy or to be a moral person or to have meaning in my life. I can get all of that without a magic man.
Okay, yeah. How do you think the universe came into existence? Like, I don't expect like a super in detail answer. Just like, what do you think?
It didn't come into existence. It could have always existed.
Okay, all right. Well, have a good day, sir. That's all I really had.
Okay. Thank you. We assume that things had to come into existence. Why, right? That's an assumption you're making. Maybe the universe always was. Maybe in some way it was always there. Or if it had a beginning, what if it's some thing we don't understand yet? Something natural, some physical phenomenon we just don't understand yet.
What's up, man?
Hi, how can I help you?
Hey, can I just get a Big Mac with a large fry, please, and a large Coke?
Yeah, I mean, I gave your mom a Big Mac last night. She liked it. Next. Someone said Parker's in here. No, he's not.
Hey, what do you got? Hey, what's up, guys? What do you got? Hey, what do you got?
Mockery is a form of flattery.
Hello there.
How can I help you?
Hey, first of all, I want to tell you that I appreciate your intellect, the knowledge that you have, and the way that you go about your lives is interesting. I caught the one with we should all set up a dog slaughterhouse, which was really provocative. You're provocative.
Okay,
Now,
great. So what's your argument today, sir?
being provocative is a problem sometimes. God is imaginary. With most intelligent people, that I speak to, they tend to be more agnostic. You sound more atheistic.
Right.
Which one are you?
You can be both. You can be both agnostic and atheist. But again, it doesn't matter. What is your argument today?
Okay. With God is imaginary, you can't know that for sure. Just because you don't have evidence of it, you can't know that for sure. So that feels like a disingenuous argument. Number
Well,
two, go ahead.
well, we can use logic, right? We can deduce logically that there are some issues with God. If you're going to say God's a square circle, we can deduce that that's not possible, right? It's by definition not possible. The same with some theistic versions of God. If they say that's all loving, and we look around and there's tons of evil, well, that seems to be contradictory or antithetical, at least to God's nature. So we can use logic to debunk certain versions of God.
Okay, good. You said it right there. Certain versions of God. So if I said to you that there might have been a power or an entity that created all of this, what would you say to that?
What do you mean by creating? What do you mean by
I mean that there was, for lack of a better way of putting it, a tinkerer who had all these things at his disposal or her disposal or its disposal and said, let me try this. What would happen? And boom, all of a sudden, this thing came into existence because they were tinkering with stuff. And they're like, holy cow, well, look at this. Look at this Goldilocks planet
Yeah,
over here. Look at the billions of them over here. Let's put some things here. Let's mess around. Let's see what happens. Is that a possibility?
Um, is it possible that there was some kind of agency behind things? Sure, I don't see a problem with that, but there's definitely no evidence of that, and that's most people believe in a theistic God who loves us and cares about us.
Right. But
That
something
seems to
like
be
that, something
contradictory.
less attached to us in an
Yeah,
ongoing nature, you
that's a
really wouldn't.
deistic. That's a deistic version of God, and I don't think that there's an issue there.
Okay.
But yeah, when
Good.
it comes to
I was wondering at what point would you say, all right, something's possible?
but do you have an argument for your God in favor of your God though for us today?
No, not there. Nope.
Okay, thank you.
The way that you phrase things.
Guys, please come up if you have an argument, right? Please come up. I don't want to waste my time or your time. I think we accidentally happened? No, you do. You think one day by accident God said, let there be light, and we all magically happened.
How you doing, Mike? Oh,
Great.
wait. Oh, okay, you can hear me all right. So, can you give me, like, why do you think God is imaginary?
There's no evidence.
Can we get a little deeper than that, or is as deep as we go?
It's that simple. This is not very hard, right? There's no evidence, and there's logical issues with gods.
Well, if I actually have evidence that of God's existence.
Great. Where is it?
Your big boss, he like pendulums in my fucking face, Mike. That's the evidence right there.
Was that supposed to be funny? Hey, Jaya, how are you?
Hello?
How can I help you?
How come your beliefs on God makes you like try and make everybody vegan?
When did I ever try to make you vegan?
It says go vegan. That's kind of like a forceful statement.
How is it forcing you? How is it forcing you?
It's kind of like it sounds a bit, you know.
So it sounds like it's forcing, but it's not forcing you, right? Because you don't have to be here, right?
Okay, yeah, you're right. But how come that, like, what does it have to do with God being imaginary?
It doesn't. It's just separate topics that you can debate. So do you have an actual argument?
Yeah, I do.
Great. What is it?
Hi. I'm trying to like fully understand evolution, so how does it work?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing like science talks today. We're going to be doing debates. So
But
do you have an argument or no?
I want to talk about the going vegan one. Why should I go vegan?
Do you want to harm animals?
I mean, I don't really care about harming them animals. Is
If
there a reason why I should?
Well, do you think it's okay for me to go up to a dog and just beat it? Just punch it in the face? Is that okay to you?
If you treat it correctly, as in, take care of it right before you do that, then sure. And as long as you own it, yeah.
So you think it's okay for me to go up to a dog and give it a treat and then punch it in its face? That's okay?
Do you own the dog?
Yeah, it's my dog.
Yeah, then sure. Do whatever. Eat it. Doesn't matter. We eat every other animal.
Okay. Okay, so you think it's okay for you to abuse a dog and abuse other animals, but how about humans? Do you think it's okay to abuse a human?
No,
Okay, so why is it okay to abuse a dog, but not okay to abuse a person?
because of difference in sentience and consciousness.
Dogs are conscious and sentient.
Right, but not as conscious and sentient as us. We are clearly more intelligent than them. And just in the same way that animals eat each other, we're also going to eat these animals because, yes, we are animals, like biologically.
Okay, well, first of all, dogs are intelligent. They are
Right,
conscious, and in fact, they're more intelligent than many babies. But
right.
also, you're saying, oh, the animals eat each other. Well, the animals also grape each other. Should we go around graping each other like other animals?
No.
Exactly. So just because other animals do something doesn't mean we should do it too. We
Right,
have
but the
choices. We
difference,
have
sorry.
options.
But the difference is that when it comes to veganism, that's the type of morality dabbling in animals. Graping doesn't by nature specifically dabble with animals, so we're not going to get our morality from animals because
Right. So that's why we get our morality from looking at consequences to our actions. We have decisions, we have brains, we can use them to minimize cruelty to the poor animals, right? We don't have to harm animals. So why do you do it?
um I'm going to do it because I like the food. So I really do not care. Because at the end of the day, it's like
Okay.
you're.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Because I want to call out this false analogy that you made between grape. But the issue is that the definition of grape does not involve animals. But the reasoning that I'm using, it involves the fact that because animals eat each other and we belong under the animal kingdom, we could also do that, sweetie. We are animals. Like,
I know we're animals, but that doesn't justify graping, right? Again, you haven't justified why you get to harm animals but not humans. You haven't pointed out a moral difference between the two of us.
I said that it's a difference in consciousness. And the reason
But
why I said that,
okay, hold on. You're saying consciousness. But what if there is a human person who was just as conscious as a dog? Would you kill that person?
no, because they still have the potential to
No, they
have the
don't.
same capacity.
They're disabled. They don't have the potential to be as smart as us. Should we get to kill those disabled people?
That's literally an outlier, sweetie.
It doesn't matter. The
Mm.
point is your ethical framework is inconsistent, right? Because what you're saying is I get to harm animals because they're not as smart as me, but then you say, oh, I don't get to harm people even though they're not as smart as me. So there's a contradiction here. Why are you not consistent?
Mm,
Like I am. I'm consistent, right? I don't want to harm anybody, no matter how conscious they are, because they're sentient. They're animals. They don't want to die, and they don't have to die. So why do you get to kill and abuse and harm animals?
like I said, because of our difference in consciousness, and you can't just bring up an outlier and act like that's going to change the entirety of
It's
the
not an
rules,
outlier.
sweetie.
It's not an outlier, though, right? It's directly analogous. We have a sentient being who is not as smart as you, is the intelligence levels are the same, right? In fact,
Right,
many pigs are smarter than toddlers.
but
Pigs
that's
are really smart animals. Why do you get to kill a pig, but you think it's wrong to kill a baby?
because that sentient being still denotes the capacity to consciousness that I guess a human that isn't disabled does. They still denote that.
Okay, great. So then why do you make the exception for disabled? Like, well, I don't understand.
Because
Why is there
a dog does not denote the biology of a human, whereas a disabled human does in fact denote the biology of a human.
I know that. I'm asking you, why do you think that you get to harm dogs even though they're as smart as disabled people?
Because, like I said, these disabled people denote the biology of non-disabled people.
Okay,
A
great.
dog cannot.
Okay, great. So what you're saying is the only reason why we get to harm and abuse animals is because we're human beings. We're Homo sapiens. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, great.
yes, sweetie.
So it's our species, right? So what if there was another species out there, a human species that was just like us, but they had gray skin? They were a different species. They couldn't reproduce with us.
What?
Would you think it's okay to kill those gray skinned people?
That wouldn't even be a human then.
It's a
They can't.
human. Do you know what? Okay, it is a human. It's a human species. Just they're just a different
Okay.
species than us. Would you kill that species?
A human species, but it's just a different species than us? What?
Yes. Yes.
That a human species, but it's just a different what?
Yes. Yes. A different species of humans. There are many in the past. It's perfectly logical.
No, I understand, but what? That make no type of a human species that's a different species.
Yes, than us. Yes.
W- If it's a different species, it wouldn't be a human species.
There could be several different human species, right? There are
Okay.
sapiens, ergaster, habilis. There's many different human species in our past. We're not the only human species that ever existed.
Well, you know what? Eat them too. Eat them too. If they are not to our level of consciousness and
Wow.
sentience,
They
eat them
are.
too.
They
Eat
are
them
though.
too.
But they are.
Yes.
But they are. They are our level of consciousness, but they're just a different species. Would you kill that person?
Same level of consciousness, but they're a different species. I'm confused. If they're a different species, they wouldn't be at the same level of consciousness. What?
Yes, they would. They would be a different. They would be the same consciousness, but a different species. Would you kill that person?
Okay, then I guess I won't, because I'm confused. Because you're using
Great.
species and consciousness weird.
Great. So
Like
now, there you go again, right? You're saying now you would not kill another species.
because
So
of the
it's not
level of
so it's not the
consciousness.
species, it's just consciousness. But then we go back to the disabled example. You every time you try, you can never point out the difference between us morally. There is no difference between us and the animals morally.
No, not at all.
There's always traits that we have in common with the animals. Always.
Not really. Because okay, so going back to that little analogy of the disabled person, right? In the same way that that person would still denote the capacity to consciousness and sentience of a non-disabled person is the same way that an infertile man would or an infertile male would denote the capacity to produce sperm in the same way that a fertile one would, right?
I
Because
understand
we
that.
know that even if a male is infertile, they are still a male, right? Because they
No,
denote
I
that
know. I don't
in
see
the
how this
same
is
way
relevant.
that,
Sir,
right?
please. Sir, please. I don't see how this is relevant. You're not
Right,
explaining
because I'm
why.
okay. I'm saying that because we
Please.
still see certain characteristics
Okay, great. So
within that,
what's
right?
the morally relevant distinction between us and animals that grants you the right to harm and abuse and rape animals?
I just said levels of sentience and consciousness that come with us being
Okay.
human.
Okay, great. So if our sentience, for example, of a baby was the same as a pig, would you kill that baby?
No, because it would still have the
Okay, great.
capacity.
So then it is
Sorry,
not consciousness. So then it's
I
not
say it's
consciousness.
because it would have the
Sir, please, you're
potentiality
not
to have that
listening. No,
consciousness.
again, I do this all the time and people don't understand. It doesn't matter about it having potentiality because we can point to disabled people who don't have any potentiality, right? That's the point.
Right, but they in that
Hold
case they
on,
denote the capacity.
hold on. At the end of the day, you cannot point out a difference between us and the animals. You haven't done it yet. You can
I
say, well,
did, and
they're still human, but then we go back to the species. And I attacked you at every point. You just have not countered it properly yet.
I did though. I showed you exactly how a disabled person still denotes the capacity to the consciousness of a non-disabled person. Then I brought up the argument about the potentiality that a baby
So then
holds.
you're talking about being a species of human, and then I showed you just because we're human nature doesn't mean that there could be another species that you would still harm. See, the point is that it's not about our species. It's really not about it because I can point you to an example of another species that you would not harm.
I said we wouldn't harm that one. I originally actually did say that, but you was confusing me because you said a different species of the same species of human, and that's what got me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's different species of human that can exist, right? So again, it's not species, it's not consciousness, it's not sentience. What is the difference?
I just told you, it is sentience and consciousness. You just every
What?
single time I
Oh my
respond to
gosh.
your
Okay, but
argument,
if there is a person with the same sentience and consciousness as an animal, would you kill that person?
no, because they still either have the
Oh,
potentiality or they
okay,
would denote the
great. So what if
capacity
there is
to
a
that.
disabled person with no potentiality to become conscious or sentient like anybody else? Would you kill that person?
They would still denote that
What do you
capacity,
mean
though.
to know that they have no potentiality to become as conscious as you or me?
They still
No
denote it because a
potentiality.
disabled
What do you
human
mean to
still has
know?
the
Sir,
characteristics
please,
of a human,
please.
just like how an
Okay,
infertile
great. So
male
now we're
still
back.
has the
So
sexual
now we're going back
characteristics
to,
of a fertile
sir,
male.
please stop. Now we're going back to species. You're saying, oh, look, there's still a species of human. And then I
Yeah,
can point to
okay.
the example where there's another species that you wouldn't harm. It's not
Yeah,
the
the reason why
harder.
I'm bringing up the species of human is because the consciousness and the sentience is what's coming from the species of human, right? This species of human has that specific consciousness and sentience, right?
But there are different species, right? That's the point. You still would not harm another species. So you can't say that it's our human nature. It's still a different species. That's the
Right,
point.
but that other species still has the same sentience and consciousness, which was the
Okay, great.
original
So now,
reason.
you're going back. Now we're back to square one. Now it's just about consciousness. And
Mm-hmm.
now I can point you to an animal who has just as much consciousness as a person, and you would still not harm that person, right? A baby, for
Yeah,
example,
I
has
wouldn't
just
harm
as
that
much consciousness
person.
as an animal.
Yes, the baby has the potentiality, disabled person denotes it.
Okay, now we're going back to this species now. Do you understand? You keep going in
Because the
circles. 'Cause
consciousness comes from the species, sweetie.
exactly, but then the species, I can just say, oh, there's another species out there who is not our species, and you would still not harm them. So it's not species. You're going in circles because you don't have a way out of this.
Okay,
There's an
I'm
infinite regression of
confused.
you're in a circle, right? You're in a loop.
Wait, no, the
If you
reason why
don't,
I said that I wouldn't
please
harm them is because you were talking about.
stop. You're in a loop. You cannot point out a distinction between us morally that differentiates us from the animals such that we get to harm them.
The
That's
reason
the
why
point.
I said, sorry, the reason why I said I wouldn't eat that other species was because of their level of consciousness. I never said it was just because it was another
Okay,
species.
so
When
let me ask you again then. If there is an animal with as much consciousness as a person, would you kill that person?
Nyar, and for the reasons that I've already explained to you
No.
earlier, and then we're gonna
Okay,
go
great.
dip
So then
back
it's
into.
not consciousness. That's not consciousness then, because consciousness doesn't matter now. Because now
Okay,
they're
and what if I
equal.
said that I
Now they're
would?
equal on both sides.
What if I said that I would? What if I said that I would eat both this person without that level of consciousness and that animal? Now what?
Well, now you think eating babies is okay, and I would just say you're Jeffrey Dahmer's child and say bye bye. Like I can't talk to Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not
Okay,
going to convince
period.
Jeffrey
Do your
Dahmer to stop
thing.
eating people, right? Like I can't debate Jeffrey Dahmer and win. He's a cannibal.
Okay, period. Then I
All right.
guess I'm Jeffrey Dahmer. Bye. Have a nice.
That's a great bullet to bite. This is the point, guys. I know you guys. I know it's complicated logic for you, but just there is no difference morally between us. You can't point it out. There's always a trait that we have that animals also have. Hello?
I ain't gonna lie, Mike, you looking like a snack right now. I'm trying to eat
Have a
that
good
dick.
Hello.
Hey, how can I help you?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about what you have up there. You say that God is imaginary, and I don't know, where do you want to start?
Go ahead. Give us your best argument.
Well, I think if you're looking at the world around you, and you're kind of looking at like that's because I've been listening to your lives a little bit, and there's this whole idea that like you don't need a God to explain the world around you. But at some point, I think it just naturally points to it. I mean, like, for example, you're looking at like evolution as fact. So let's look at the process of evolution for a second. You're looking at like proteins changing over time. So essentially, it's gene frequency, allele frequency changing over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your allele frequency is changing, it's changing in the way that proteins are expressed, right? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So a single, like the simplest amino acid protein is about 150 amino acids long. For you to actually have a single amino acid change and still have that protein functional, you're looking at a factor of about, according to research, 10 to the minus 65. Like that's the chances. So like 1 in 10 to the power of 65.
What research is that? Number one. Number two, our bodies produce proteins all the time, and we have trillions of cells all the time.
Yeah. No, so what I'm
It's like
saying is,
they're like not literally like the amount of proteins in your body is like 10 to the like 50 or something. Like
yeah.
the numbers add up.
No, so what I'm trying to say is if you're looking at the process of evolution, you're looking at, how does a mutation change one protein into a slightly different, more functional, more advantageous protein, right?
It's not that they're changing into something more functional. It's already functional, right? It's just that nature is selecting certain beings because due to survival, right? They're all they're moving towards what survives the most in a given niche.
Right.
It's all about survival. It's not about how our protein changes necessarily.
No. So you would agree then that in a population there is an allele frequency that exists. So there's actually a natural variation of proteins, right? And so what you're saying through evolution is that certain proteins are selected for and others are selected against. However, one of the key concepts of evolution is that there are mutations that provide spontaneous new frequencies to that gene pool, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So those spontaneous new genes, that's what I'm talking about. For those to arrive spontaneously is actually a very, very small percentage. And so when you compound
that's why most times DNA is fine. It's just a select few chances where our genes change, and the ones that adopt those genes, those are the ones who move on, survive more better, right? It's all about mathematics here. But again, that's like what is your argument here? What's your point here?
So what my argument is if you look at the actual like probabilities of random mutations becoming positive, because mutations can be positive, neutral, or negative, the chances that they are positive is very small. Then the chances that those positive mutations are actually beneficial to their environment is small. So what my argument, let me just
what's your point? What's your point here?
Yeah. So my point is, from a mathematical perspective, we live in a universe that has a finite amount of time, a finite amount of things. And so if you're looking at these mathematical impossibilities, so to paint you an analogy.
How do you know it's impossible? Look, you keep saying it's mathematically impossible. Where's your evidence of this? What's the research on that?
So, I mean, if you give me a second, I can look up the actual paper for you. But that number.
Please show the evidence that it's impossible for genes to mutate and select for beneficial mutations. I love to see this.
Yeah. No, absolutely. If you'll give me 1 second.
When we can literally observe it in labs.
No. I'm not saying that they don't. They absolutely do. We observe this. I'm not saying that evolution does happen.
Great. So then obviously there's something wrong with what you're saying, because it is possible.
No, what I'm saying is that the chances that it is possible. So for example, it's possible somebody can win the lottery. It's also possible that somebody can win the lottery twice. It is also technically mathematically possible for somebody to win the lottery 2 times in a row.
I understand. You're saying it's very, very low likelihood, but where's your evidence of that, right? Bring the evidence. Show us that it's so unlikely that that won't happen without God. I'd love to see that evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not that it's when you add up all of these unlikelihoods, it becomes more possible that there is a God that exists than that there isn't a God that exists.
No, how does something being unlikely mean God, therefore God explains it more? That's nonsense. That's a non sequitur.
If you were to put it this way, if somebody won the lottery every single day, you would say you wouldn't say, "Oh yeah,
So before
mathematical
you
chance it
start,
happened."
before you continue this monologue about numbers, why don't you give the research first? Why don't you give the data first? Because as
Okay.
far as I can see, I don't even have to grant you what you're saying to me. You don't. What you're saying could be false. I don't know. Give the research. Give the data.
Yep. Give me 1 second here. I mean, if you want, I can look it up, and come back. If you look for me in the guest box, you can talk to somebody else while I pull it up, because I
Yeah,
don't want to just sit here
I'd love to
blankly
see
while you can
the
talk to other
papers.
people.
I would love to see that paper's peer reviewed because I think I know what you're talking about, and it is not a peer reviewed study. It's not even a scientific study. It's just some mathematician who wrote something on a piece of paper and said, "Oh, it's impossible."
No. This is
There
actually
is
by
no.
somebody who studies amino acids and protein
Okay,
structure.
great. So, is it peer reviewed?
Yep.
What journal is it in? And what is it? What's the methodology and the conclusion of the study?
Yeah, let me just look that up and I will get back to you. Do you want to drop me and I'll come back on in a bit?
Okay.
All right.
Morality is objective because we are born with innate value. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. Your opinion is that that morality is objective, that you haven't shown it. Guys, I know you guys all are against me, but just look, he didn't bring up any data to the table. He didn't bring any data, and you guys are assuming he won. Right? Like there's no data brought to the table yet. How can you possibly assume that he's winning when data hasn't even been given?
Hello?
How old are you?
17.
Yeah, hello.
How can I help you?
You put what is it called? You asked for data, right?
Yeah.
Well, my data is that I do like a nice ribeye steak, I'll be honest.
I understand where you guys are coming from. You guys are trying to come up here and, make fun of the vegan. I understand that. I used to be a meat eater too. But, just think about what you're actually saying here, right? Like imagine if I went up here and said, I love eating babies. Like you guys would never think I'd be canceled, right? But I know it's funny and you got the laugh.
I don't think babies
But
taste as good as a ribeye steak, I'll be totally honest, but that's just my opinion.
but what makes you think we get to harm and abuse and grape animals?
Who grapes animals?
Every time you buy a steak, you were causing the process of an animal being graped. A cow had to be graped so we can get them impregnated so that they can produce other cows for you, right?
What about free range
There's
animals, ones that
there's a
just like
process, there's an entire process that you're not aware of that is harming animals by the billions every day.
what process? Like isn't there like free range options?
Free range is not good at all. It's still just as bad as many other farms around the
Because
world.
they get to like be free and like do whatever they want and they can breed on their own. Like they're not forced to be fed, they're not forced
They
to,
are.
you know what I
They
mean?
are. They are forced to be bred into existence, no matter what farming you do. But even a free range animal is still going to be dying, right? You're still killing it at the end of the day. So I don't care how well you treat somebody. If they're your slave, or if you kill them at the end of the day, it's still wrong. Doesn't matter how good you treat them. I think that we don't have to harm any animals or even kill them in the first place. Let them be.
Well, I know that you compare animals to humans and stuff, but don't you say like wouldn't you say there's like a massive difference though between like animals and humans? Because like
It
we've always
depends.
consumed, yeah, we've always consumed animals. You know what I mean? Like even if you look back, in the olden times, we've always consumed animals, but we've never really consumed humans. Don't you think there's like a reason for that?
We did consume humans. Our ancestors were cannibals.
Some,
There's
no.
lots of data on this.
There's some cannibals
And
today, obviously, but I mean the
yeah.
majority are not.
Okay, well, the point is that just because we did something in the past doesn't justify it today. We had slavery in the past. Does that make it okay today because we did it for so long in the past?
No, no,
No.
no. Like that's not my point at all. But
So
fair
again,
enough.
you're this is a naturalistic fallacy. Oh, the animals do it. We did it in the past. Why not recognize that we no longer have to do it today, and are causing a tremendous amount of harm and abuse and cruelty to these poor animals? Why?
No, I get that. I get that. I've seen some videos and they're a little cruel, I'll be honest, but it's just like I don't it's just one of those things. It's like there's a lot of like I know people like farmers and stuff, they counteracted that like those arguments about cruelty and whatever, and they say that, the way that they kind of, breed their animals and stuff like that isn't your stereotypical, like you
Right,
said.
I understand, but that's 1% of farming, number one. Number two, I don't care if I
Would you say
treated
that's
my,
wrong though? Like
if I had a
if we
child, hold
decide to
on,
eat,
hold on.
go
If
ahead.
I had a child and I treated it so well, I give it candy, I give it good food, I let it free in my backyard, right? I said, hey, and then at 10 years old, I slaughter him and then I eat his body parts. Would that be okay to you?
No, because it's a human.
Exactly, right? It's wrong because, hey, it's a person.
Exactly.
But what's the difference between the cow and the person, right? Because to
I'd
me, they're
say
both
that
conscious, they're both sentient, they both don't want to die and don't have to die. They're the same to me morally. What's the moral difference to you?
in my opinion, like it's well, not really just opinion. It's kind of like backed by science. Like us humans are a lot more complex. You know what I mean? Like we think to a different level. We process things in a different level. We have, an actual, like cows are not humans. You know what I mean? Best way to put it. Like just the way that we think and we act, the way we act, and the way
Okay.
everything. Like it doesn't
Um,
good.
did you know that cows and pigs are actually smarter than babies and toddlers? They're more intelligent and aware than babies.
Yeah, but
Does
baby
that,
pigs.
should we
Yeah.
eat, should we eat baby people because they're not as smart as cows?
No, but babies can eventually become a lot smarter if that makes because like if you compare you're comparing like the peak intelligence of an animal versus the lowest intelligence of a human.
Okay. What if there's a disabled person who will never be as smart as you or me, and they'll always be as smart as a cow or a pig? Does that justify killing that disabled person?
Not really.
There you go. So it's not intelligence that matters to you. It's the fact that they're human more, right? Is it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. I'll be honest. It's just the fact of a human. I've never thought. You know what? I'm craving
Okay.
a little bit of human meat today. You know what I mean? I'm not sure
Okay.
what it is. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what it is. I've never really had
Yeah,
a moral object. I'd never had anything against eating. You know what I mean? Meat. But
I
I understand.
understand.
I understand your point as a vegan, though. I'm just like trying to understand why it's so wrong. If that makes sense. Like eating meat. You know what I mean?
Because there is no difference. There's no moral difference. Cows are sentient, conscious, just like us. They have dreams and thoughts and feelings. They don't want to die. They can get depression. When their babies are stolen in farms, they cry for days looking for their babies. They get anxiety just like we do. They're
When did
so
you
much similar to us that people don't understand. We're
When
so
did you become a
disconnected.
vegan? Out of curiosity. Like
Six
what?
years, 6 years ago.
6 years. Like what made that significant change? Like what changed your life so much that you wanted to become a vegan? Like what changed that?
I was exposed to factory farms and slaughterhouses. I realized what we do to the animals, and I changed that day.
What about what's your opinion then on like for example clothing and stuff like that? Things that are byproducts of animals. Eggs, for example.
Look, this is how I see it. Would I want my body parts on somebody else's body because they thought it was cute? No. I treat others the way I want to be treated. And I don't want my body or anybody else's body being cut, chopped up just to be put on their body for show. So I say let them be. Don't harm them, don't exploit them. They're not objects. They're sentient beings like us.
So one question that I've always kind of thought about is like, you know what I mean? Is wouldn't you, because some people would argue that plants to a certain degree are sentient beings. I know it sounds, a little far-fetched, but some people would argue that, hey, plants are, they have, like, because if you think about it, some plants, if you, I think it's like the Venus flytrap or something like that. If you touch it a certain way, it's like I said, I'm not really into plants like that. I don't know like a whole lot, I'll be honest, but I know that some plants do have like reactions to certain things. So like, wouldn't you argue that to a degree they're sentient? So why should we eat plants and not meat?
Yeah, this is a common response to people and what they say to me. And well, just because plants respond to stimuli doesn't mean they're sentient like us. My phone reacts to stimuli. If I press it, it lights up. It can send signals too. I can communicate through my phone, but it's not sentient. There is a
Right.
specific pathway, neurological pathway, that is required to feel the way we do as animals. Our nervous system, the brain, nerve endings, pain receptors, these are required to have the same biological animal experience we have. Plants just don't have that. And sure, they might send signals to each other biochemically, but it's not the same or analogous at all to even sentience. And there's a great study on this called Debunking the Myth of Plant Consciousness. And he goes step by
Right.
step debunking all these myths about plants and showing that they're not really conscious at all like we are. But even if they were, let's say you're right and they are conscious, well, guess what? We kill less plants anyway as vegans. Vegans kill less plants. So we're still better whether or not plants are conscious.
Would you, Zen, what would you say about, like, because some people say that, like, from my knowledge, you need to have a balanced diet and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of dietitians out there, a lot of doctors say that in order to have a balanced, healthy diet, you need to have some meat in your diet. What would you say to that? Because that's like one thing that concerns me. Like, I don't want to go full vegan and then, like, you know, my body doesn't get the nutrition that it needs and everything like that. What is your counter argument to that?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, what happens to my body? Well, there's a great study called the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. These are groups of nutritionists and doctors around the world, the highest degreed doctors, and they have stated that vegan diets are suitable for all stages of life, from babies to adulthood, as long as you're getting a well-planned diet. All the nutrients your body needs, B12, vitamin D, calcium, iron, all these can be found in vegan foods. As long as you're getting a well-planned diet, you'll be healthy. And in
Right.
fact, studies show that plant-based diets are way better for people in terms of their health outcomes, less cancer, less arthritis, less diabetes, less heart disease. It's across the board better to be vegan in terms of your health.
Fair enough. And another point that I've got, and like I said, I've gotten, like, I'll be honest, like I eat meat because I've grown up eating meat. I've not like I never really like I know it's messed up. I'll be honest. It's like, you know what I mean. It's just never. It's not as I really don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I still do, and I don't know if it's just like something that I'm used to or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
we're
one
used to
thing.
it. We're told that it's okay to do, so we think it's okay and do it. We're not connected to what's happening when we do it.
When so then I kind of think like I've had this thought before. What would you say to, like, because when you look at the wild and stuff like that, you see animals eating other animals. So couldn't you say to a certain degree that we are other animals that just eat other animals? So wouldn't you just say that it's kind of like part of nature? The reason, you know what I mean? Because people don't have anything against a lion eating as, you know, a gazelle or something, but why do people have, you know?
Right, right. But the difference is that stuffing animals in cages where we stuff them so tightly packed that they can't even move. They're sitting in their own shit. They're sitting in their own piss. Pigs and cows, we stuff them in cages where they can't move. We take their babies
No,
away
I
from
agree. I
them.
agree. That's messed up.
This
I'll be honest.
isn't nature. This isn't this isn't the circle of life. This is a circle of torture.
No, I
And
get that.
none of it's necessary. So when somebody says, well, that's just nature, no, it's not. It is not nature to stuff animals in factories and treat them like
No,
slaves.
no. I've
But
seen something like the.
also, the underlying fact here is that we have a choice fundamentally. We can choose to do otherwise entirely. We don't have to partake at all in animal farming. And that's why nature doesn't matter. We don't have to follow nature. We have our own ability and our own decisions to make.
So I've got a couple questions, right? Because like I've seen this asked before, and people that I've seen, like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really into, you know, debates like that, but I've seen people ask this question and people that have failed to answer it. What would you say about owning animals, like pets and whatever?
To
Because,
me,
like, wouldn't you say it's like morally, like, there's obviously two arguments to this, but I just want to kind of see your standpoint on that.
yeah, well, I view an animal like a human. I think that animals are not inherently objects. I think inherently they are beings who should not be enslaved or owned
Right.
at all, just like a person shouldn't be owned. I think that pets are good to a degree. I think that rescuing an animal is fantastic, right? But I think breeding animals into existence for the sole purpose of having them in your home, I
Right.
think that's wrong because a lot of those animals end up being lost or euthanized or, you know, stray. And that's the problem. I think breeding animals is wrong, but I think rescuing animals is fantastic because we have so many animals, so many dogs right now around the country who are lost, who don't have homes, who are suffering and starving. And that's the cause of that problem is dog breeding. And
Right.
that's why I don't support that. But
What would you say
rescuing
then?
animals is fantastic.
What would you say if someone buys, like, from a breeder, like the pet's already born, if that makes sense? Because, like, if they don't buy the animal from, like, just say it's a dog, somebody's bred some dogs, and you go ahead and buy a dog from that breeder, would you be morally wrong or no? Because then, like you can say that if I don't buy this dog, it's gonna end up going to a shelter or something like that, or but then at the same time you're kind of supporting
Yes,
them breed
yes.
more. So
Look,
where would that
yeah,
go?
yeah, that's a good point. Look, all we can do is what we have, is do the best with what we have. We can't be perfect, and I think whatever leads to the best solution, I think we should be doing. We can't solve all the issues of the world right now, right? We have to do the best we can with what we have. We have to be practical about it.
Right.
But yes, what I would do is adopt an animal but stop breeding. I would minimize any action I take that would support breeding them into existence. That's all I can say.
Okay. Another question is, okay, let's just say, for example,
Look, I would love to answer all your questions, but we're looking for debates. So
yeah, fair enough.
last question.
Okay. Well, I'll move on to the God is imaginary thing, because it's obviously quite a bit of a jump. Why do you say God is imaginary? Like, well, what is like? Because from my perspective, believing in God is not necessarily a bad thing, because quite a lot of the religions out there promote that if you believe in God, like you do good in life and then you get good in the afterlife. So I don't see the big issue with people being like anti-religion and against God or whatever. I don't see like why you put God as imaginary. That's one thing that kind of made me question a little bit, because like what if you're agnostic, you know what I mean? Because a lot of scientists out there do say that like we as humans, obviously we just tend to fill in gaps quite a lot. So like I don't feel like as scientists or whatever, we don't have the like reasoning or explanation for a lot of things. So it
Okay.
delves back into there has to be something that created us or whatever. Like what is your opinion on that? That's one thing I know it's a little bit of a jump from the vegan thing, but yeah.
I'm not anti-theistic. I'm not an anti-theist. I'm not anti-God. I'm anti-ignorance.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people in the world around us, they only believe in God for bad reasons. And
What do you mean?
they think that there's they have faith in God. They don't know how to think critically about these things. They have the wrong impression about scientific facts. They don't understand evolution. They believe in God out of ignorance for many of the cases that I've seen. And that, when I say God's imaginary, I'm trying to capture people in to make them think more about what they believe. I'm not trying to stray you away from God. I'm trying to make you think about why you believe in a God, to see where you are logically, to see if maybe I can make you think more critically next time.
Would you say that if I believe in God and I like to say I believe in God for the right reasons or whatever, would you like do you
I
have
don't
like a
think there are.
compelling
I don't
argument
think there
against
are
that,
any.
or no? Would you just
I don't think there are any good reasons to believe in God, but I do think that there are innocent reasons to believe in God. I think that if you think that
what if I
there's an
said
afterlife, that's okay. But I don't care what you believe. I care why you believe it, and I care that you don't use your belief to harm other people. And a lot of the
yeah, but
time,
what if
it's
that is
hard
the
to
case?
stop
Because
that.
isn't that most people though? Like, isn't that most people though? Like, don't most people believe in God for good reasons? Because they believe that if they do good in this life, they'll, get rewarded in
Sure,
the
sure.
afterlife. Isn't that a good reason?
No, there are no good reasons to believe in God,
Why
but there
not?
are
No,
because
how not?
reason
Sorry. Like,
because
how is that possible? Because I'm not trying to like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying like, isn't
Because good
believing in
reasons
God?
require evidence. Good reasons require evidence and data to support them, right? If
Well,
without
okay. What
that,
if
we
I
don't
gave
have
you an
good
example
reason.
right now then? What if I said, for example, myself, let's just say that I believe in God, because this is like data as myself. Like, I'm not saying what I believe in is the data, but the reason that I believe it is the data. Like, if I say I believe in God, and because I believe in God, I believe that if I do good in this life, that promotes me to be a better person. In the afterlife, I'll get rewarded for that. Isn't that a good reason to believe in God?
No,
You said
because
innocent
I
of good.
can
I
do
feel
that
like that is a good reason.
without believing in God, and I would argue even in a more potent way. I don't
Not
need to
really,
believe in
though.
God for morality.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, I know, but wouldn't you say that? Because you said you can, obviously, do whatever good in life and whatever, but you don't have that rewarding factor. You don't have that motivator. You don't have that moral
Sure, I
stand
do.
ground.
Sure, we do. I
How?
motivate myself. People motivate me. The world around me motivates me. I don't need a God to be motivated about what to do in my life or what decisions to make. People make decisions for me. Their actions, the consequences to my actions. They are the ones who make the decisions because I
Well, I'm not.
respond to what they're
Mhm.
doing and I say, "Hey, let's stop these bad things from happening."
Wouldn't you say? I'm not saying that
It's
God
not.
influences your decisions. I'm not saying that, like in my eyes, like I don't feel like God is influencing my decision. I just feel like if I'm doing the right thing, it's like God is almost like morality standpoint. Like he just kind of like sets this fundamentals, and if I follow them, you know what I mean? I can choose not to, and that's where my choice comes in. Like you said, you can choose to be good either way, but doesn't that support and promote you to be better?
It depends what kind of God you believe in. I think that if you're a Christian, you have a lot of problems to solve. If you're a Muslim, you have a lot of things to solve, right? When
Right.
people say God, it's a very ambiguous word. If you think God is just the nature, or if you're a pantheist, well, then I can't argue there. But if you're a theist who thinks that we should kill because of unbelievers, that's a different story that I will definitely push against.
Right.
But I don't know what God you believe in, but I don't
Fair
care
enough.
actually anymore because I want to get to the next guest now.
Yeah, it's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. All right, let's get some debates.
Hi,
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18. I'm with my roommate, he's 19. Hi.
Okay, what year were you born?
I was born 2004.
How old are you though? You're 19 or 18?
Hmm?
Are you 19 or 18?
I was born 2005. You were born 2004. Yeah.
Okay. What do you got? What's your argument?
Well, I just wanted to like say that I really like what you do. I really like your content, and just keep at it. I'm not really here for a debate. I'm not here. I'm just
Okay.
checking in.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Hey, how can I help you? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
I just want to say, okay, I'm vegan too, but why do you think God is imaginary?
No evidence.
We have the Bible though.
The story about talking donkeys and talking snakes and walking on water and turning body into bread and resurrecting from
Yeah,
the
he left us that.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18. My birthday was like yesterday.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Bible is a collection of stories and mythology. It's not real. It's just a story.
Understand where you're coming from, but like you have to, in a way, but like think that it makes a little bit of sense, because like
No, I'm
so
not
you
gonna,
think
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go. Okay, let's just believe. Let's make it make sense in my mind. I wouldn't do that. I'm not gonna.
yeah. So where do you think everybody came from? The universe came from?
We came from
Do you
a
think it
big.
just like appeared, like boom, appeared?
No, we came from a space Uber that dropped us off and said, "Hey, there you go. Bye bye." No, we don't. We didn't come from anywhere, right? Like we could have always existed in some way. In fact, you're the one who thinks that we boomed into existence. God, what made us in 6 days? That's a big boom. The entire universe, 90 billion layers across in 6 days. That's ridiculous.
Mm. Okay, well, actually, I think you're the one that's being ridiculous. You don't even believe in anything.
I believe in facts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what facts?
That evolution is true, that there is no evidence of a God, that the sky is blue, that gravity exists, things like those.
Okay. Well, you have a great night.
Okay. Have a good day. Next.
I really wanted to join because I wanted to debate her. I actually agree with 100% everything you're saying. The Bible is completely a metaphor. It is like a user manual. It is not something that, people have to abide by. It is completely up to whoever's decision of what they choose to believe in. And just like you, I agree with you. That's all. I just wanted to debate her, but yeah, that's it.
I know it's stressful to hear people like that and not be able to debate them, but do your own live, right? Make your own lives, right? I want to inspire you guys to talk and debate. People, it's so taboo to debate, right? Oh, don't talk about religion. I want that to change. Hi, how are you? A lot of the reasons why people are confused is because we don't talk about religion. We don't talk about it enough in our day to day.
Hello?
Hi, how can I help you?
I can't believe I'm on live with you. I've been watching you on live or on my free page for so long. It's
Cool.
crazy. But I just want to ask, why do you try so hard to make people not believe in God?
I don't try very hard. It's very easy. But how old are you?
18.
Okay, so do you have an argument for us today or no?
I don't know. Yeah, but no.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
It's not hard at all to debunk religions. It's really easy.
Hello.
Hi, how can
I'm gonna get on the vegan train with you. I'm gonna debate with that because I'm not gonna touch the God as imaginary thing. I think that's it would probably piss a lot of people off, right off the bat. So, and I'm surprised you haven't been taken off for it, really. But whatever. So, why do you think being vegan is good?
Because it's not harming animals. It's not harming or abusing or exploiting any animals that we don't have to.
Okay, so why do you care about animals?
Because they're like us. We are animals. We are part of the animal kingdom.
Like they're alive?
They're alive. They're sentient. They're conscious. They're aware. They're intelligent. They
Okay,
don't
so
die.
are plants.
No, carrots are not intelligent. They're just carrots. They don't.
Well, they're
they don't-
considered living things. I mean, they move with their environment and they change with even with human interaction. Like if I go over there and touch a plant, it moves.
So does my left ass cheek, but
Yeah,
my
and
left
you're
ass cheek's not
human.
alive.
That's a human body
not
part.
alive. It's not a sentient being, right? Just
But how do
because
you
you're
know that?
alive,
Can you read a plant's mind?
hold on. Just because you're alive doesn't mean you're sentient. A bacterium is alive, but it's not sentient. Do you think bacteria are like have a depression and anxiety, and do you think you cry every time you brush your teeth because the bacteria might get killed?
No, I mean I don't care about the bacteria or the plants
Okay.
or the animals, to be honest.
Okay, great. Really? You don't care about any? So I can go up to a dog and just smack its face? Is that okay?
No, dogs are here for us. That's kind of what I believe. I think
okay.
dogs are pretty sweet. There's no reason to kill them. A
okay.
cow, on the other hand, lives a full life on a farm and then gets killed whenever it's old enough and then gets eaten.
Right. And why is that? Right. That's the crux of the issue. There seems to be a contradiction here, a hypocrisy. You think it's wrong to hurt a dog, but it's okay to hurt a cow. Why?
Because I don't give a. I mean, okay, I was about to get bad. I don't care about a cow. I guess, man. Like I said, they live a full life. They probably live a life longer than a dog, and then they get butchered whenever they're near the end of their life.
No, absolutely not. Most cows die before 2 years old, but it doesn't matter how long they live. I mean,
No, that's not true. See, you're talking about stuff like what's it called? Where veal. You're talking about like veal. That I don't eat veal. I think that's a little messed up, right?
okay. So you think it's wrong to kill a young cow?
Yeah, I mean, let the thing live a little bit,
Okay, so why do we get to kill older cows but not younger cows? What's the difference?
It got to live its life. Cows are pretty easily entertained, man. They walk around a field all day and they
Okay,
eat grass and they shit and then they die.
could I kill an older dog?
Sure, most people do it. It's called euthanization.
No. If it's just minding its own business, right? It's healthy. It's just old. Do I get to kill that dog that it's old?
Are you planning on eating it?
Yeah, I'm planning on eating it. Can I do that?
Sure. If you're hungry, bro, go for it.
Okay. So I can go up to an old dog and eat it if I'm hungry. Okay.
Yeah.
What if there's a human that's old? What if there's a person that's old? Can I go up to an old person that's just minding his own business?
Cannibalism. That's a little bit different now. We ain't talking about eating our own species. We're talking about eating other animals.
Okay, there it is. So you think it's wrong to eat a person, no matter how old they are, but it's perfectly okay to kill a dog that's old. Why? What's the difference between them?
I just don't hold a dog or a cow to the same standard as someone that speaks my language and I'm able to communicate with and live with on a day-to-day basis. That's like kind of an asinine statement, to be honest. That doesn't like even help your argument at all. You're like, oh, so you would eat a cow, but you would eat a human then? Like, come on, man. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to show you that there seems to be a contradiction in your ethical framework, because there really is no moral difference between us and cows. There's conscious, they're sentient, they care, they are intelligent to us. Are you saying that just because they can't speak English or you can't talk to a cow, that means you get to kill it?
No, see now you're taking back from the fact. Like whenever I was saying you should let a cow live a full life.
What's the morally relevant difference between cows and people?
Well, I already explained that to you, and then you shot it down saying like, okay, well, if you'll eat a cow, then you'll eat a human, but it's just not even the same at all.
You're not really tracking to the logic here.
Now, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that if I'm going to eat a cow,
what is the morally relevant difference between cows and people that justifies killing the cow? What is the trait? What is the trait or characteristic that we have that animals don't have that justifies killing them?
I don't know. I mean, would you eat a human?
No. Now, can you answer my question, please?
I already did.
What's
I
the difference?
explained that to you like 3 times now.
Name the trait. What's the characteristic that justifies killing cows and dogs?
I'm able to talk to a human. I'm able to like live with a human. I'm able to communicate with them in a certain way. And I think that something like that would honestly, man, the reason why I'm kind of dancing around that is because that's going to go straight into religion.
Okay, great. So what if there is a person who is disabled? You can't talk to them. Do you get to kill that person because you can't talk to them?
No, that's also an asinine statement.
Okay,
that's like
great.
a stupid argument.
It's not. So then it's not about if you can talk to them.
Do you plan on eating that person? Do you plan on eating that person? We're talking about eating cows, right? I would eat a cow, so that's why I would kill it. See, now you're looking at me like I'm a psychopath.
Sir, do you think it's okay to eat and kill a person if you can't talk to them?
No.
Okay, great. So now there's a contradiction. You think it's okay to kill a cow because you can't talk to them, but now you think it's wrong to kill a person even though you can't talk to them.
That's not the only reason, man. Like,
so
humans have a lot more to them. I mean,
what's the difference? What's the morally relevant difference between us and cows?
I think that humans are at the top of the food chain, and they're a lot more sentient, as you say, than a cow or a dog.
Okay.
Right.
So how sentient do they have to be? I mean, what if there's a person who is just as sentient as a dog? Do you get to kill that person?
This is just gonna wind up going straight into religion.
Go ahead. Let's get to religion. If that's the only reason why you get to just rape and harm animals, let's hear it.
Raping? What do you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. What are you talking about? How does that even? You talking about like the breeding process?
Yeah, that classifies as sexual assault and rape.
I don't know, man. I guess like someone like me would listen to that. I know about the insemination process. I know. I've been around.
Great.
A lot of my buddies are farmers.
Can you please answer the question? So, what justifies harming animals to you?
Because we eat them. We eat animals.
You
They're
can
food.
You can eat people too. They're made of the same meat you're made of.
Well, it's been scientifically proven that people who eat humans go freaking insane. So no, I don't think it's anywhere close to it.
No, it's not. Our ancestors were cannibals. You can cook human meat and you can be fine, just like we cook human animal meat. You can also get disease from animal meat too, right? Just because you can get disease doesn't mean it's ethically wrong. I'm asking about your ethics. What justifies killing a cow for no reason, for no good reason?
So you threw it on to me like a human, right, is the same as eating an animal, and then I threw it on you like eating a plant is the same thing too, and then you go, no, they're not sentient. But how do you know that?
Because they don't have brains, nervous systems, or nerve endings. They're not sentient.
Okay, so because their biology is a little bit different than ours. I mean, they still breed, they still reproduce, they still eat, they still shit. They do everything that we do, other than
don't have the ability to feel pain. That's the point I'm trying to get to. They're not conscious or sentient. That's what all of animals have in common.
Okay, so how about a fish?
Fish are
like if you're going fishing.
Fish are conscious and sentient. Fish feel pain.
Okay, if you had a hook in your face, right? Would you pull against that hook aggressively? Oh, heck no, I'm going to go the opposite way and pull my face off. Would you do that?
Oh my gosh, sir.
That's what fish do. That's what fish do whenever you go fishing.
Yeah, because it's hurting them.
Then why would they pull against it?
They don't know what to do.
If you had a hook in your face, you would follow the hook.
Sir, they have no other option. They don't have arms to take it off. They're fish. Sir, I can't believe this is what you're justifying it, because they can't fight back, so we get to kill them. This is embarrassing. The animals that you're slaughtering and killing cannot fight back. They don't know how to fight back, and they're victims, right? They're literally victims. You're literally abusing them. Why? What justifies this?
I don't know, man. I guess I'll just start eating plants. You're absolutely right. Starve on a B12 vitamin. I mean, those come from animals too, by the way. They come from animal byproducts and bacteria.
No, they don't. B12 does not come from animals. It comes from bacteria in soil.
Which normally comes from what?
Bacteria in soil.
Animals
consume the soil and the plants that have the B12 on it. But you don't get B12 from animals only. You can get B12 from mushrooms, duckweed, fortified foods, nutritional yeast, tempeh, tofu. All have B12. All the nutrients your body requires can be had on a vegan diet.
All right, so fast forward the debate. All right, we get into a new one now. What normally consists of a vegan's diet?
We're not talking about diet. We're talking about ethics. And if you can't debate ethics, you have no place here.
No. This is. I'm getting into the ethics part. But what in a vegan diet, there's a lot of soy, right?
Get to the ethics now.
Okay, so all right, cool. Soy farms, right, use pesticides to kill millions of birds and other animals to prevent them from destroying crops, and it maims or kills field mice. Just like a bunch of stuff like that, right?
Oh,
It's right here on the internet. I'm not hiding it. I'm on my computer right now.
Okay, and how much? And look, while you're on your computer, look up what % of soy is grown for humans. Look that up.
What do you eat in your vegan diet?
Look that up, sir. Look up how much soy is grown for humans.
Okay,
can you tell me that %?
No, I don't have it pulled up, and I don't want to. But so you eat soy in your diet, right?
Let me say it, sir. It's 6%. 6% of soy is grown for humans. The rest of it, guess who eats it? The animals.
So I eat a very small percentage of the meat that is grown.
Stop. The animals that you slaughter are consuming that soy the most. Most crops in the world are grown for animals, not for humans. So you're causing way more death to not only the animals, but also the crops. You're killing and destroying way more land, and this is evidenced by tons of studies. I can give you multiple studies if you want me to.
Do you eat soy in your diet?
Wow, yes I do, and I can't believe you just admitted everything I just told you.
Murderer. You're a murderer. How dare you? I'll have you know that those field mice have feelings. All right, bro?
You think soy's a person? You think soybeans are people?
No, I think that the field mice are sentient, and the bugs and birds that get killed by it are sentient, man.
And what % of crops are grown for humans? Oh yeah, 25%.
Oh, so now we're feeding animals, so we're helping them out. We're helping them populate. That's awesome, man.
No, you're helping them be put into gas chambers. That's wrong, right? You're causing way more death to the animals, and I'm causing way less. But by the way, I'm not intending to kill any animals. that I don't have to, because we have to grow crops to survive. And yes, some animals would die in the process, about 2 per 5 acres, as many studies show. But the idea that we have to be perfect is not a good argument against veganism. That's not even what veganism means. We're not perfect. We don't eliminate, we don't, we're not saying, we're not saying we eliminate all death and we're all perfect and we're all kumbaya. No, veganism is not perfect, but we can do the best we can with what we have. And that's what it means to be vegan. Not become Ace Ventura and watch every step you take for an ant. No, do what we can with what we have, which is what you're not doing.
But it's never going to be enough.
Well,
you not
that's
eating
why-
a burger
that's
is
why
not
we-
going to
that's
stop
why
them from
we
killing cows.
Exactly. That's why we continue to strive to become better and make better choices. We don't just do what you're doing and say, well, I like to do it, so let me do it. That's wrong to me. And it seems like you have no justification for this.
I tried justifying it to you, and then you tried shooting it back. And whenever I try to shoot back, then you try to look at me like I'm a crazy person.
Because,
but this right here,
that's where it leads you. Look, this is where your logic leads you. It leads
90% of what is in your diet kills a ton of birds, man, and field mice. So, you know, I mean,
how can I stop that? I can't stop it. I have to eat something to survive.
Same, man, same. And my
No,
diet
you don't
consists
have
of just as much
you
death
don't-
as yours, is my point.
No, it does not. Again,
Yes, it does.
I just explained to you that 75% of crops are grown for animal farms, not for vegans, but for you guys, right? So you're killing all those birds, all those insects, which, by the way, most of those bees die not from pesticides, but from mites and infections and viruses. So it's not that vegans are destroying it. It's you that's destroying the crops, not vegans. You're destroying almost all of it. Okay? And that's the problem. Also, we're not intending to harm animals. I don't intend to kill a dog or cow when I buy a plant at the store. I don't. I'm intending to buy that plant. But it's just a biological necessity that something dies for.
Well, I'm not killing the cow when I go and get a steak. I mean, that's
You are. You're literally
You
paying for
just said
animal
if you
body
buy a
parts.
plant, you're not killing these birds and shit, right?
Yeah, I'm buying a plant. You're
That's
buying
the
an
same
animal.
thing I just said.
No, it is not.
If I go and buy a steak, I'm not killing the cow. If
But
you
you're-
buy a
but
plant, you're not killing these birds and
sir.
mice.
Hold on. But you are buying an animal's body part, right? That body part had to have come from a slaughterhouse. That's why you are directly harming an animal. I'm not. You are intentionally killing a cow to get their meat. I'm not doing that. You are.
All right. Well, agree to disagree. Good debate, brother.
Okay.
All right.
It's very simple, guys. It's
Hey man, how's it going?
hey, what do you got?
Hello. Hey, just wanted to ask something. So, how do you eat honey?
No.
Why?
Because in the process of producing honey, lots of bees had to be tortured. I mean, we have to cut their wings off and force them to produce honey. That's wrong to me. I don't think we should force anybody to do anything they don't want to.
Sounds good. What about avocados?
Avocados?
Yeah, do you eat avocados?
Yeah, I make sure my avocados come from sustainable sources like Mexico, where they don't use honeybees at all.
So you only get them from Mexico?
Yeah.
All right.
They're-
What about the other vegans that get them not from Mexico and get them from other places?
Well, first of all, buying an avocado on its own is not something wrong. But I agree with you that avocados can be unsustainable in certain ways. But even the most unsustainable plant is still way more sustainable than any meat product there is. Meat is way more dangerous for the environment. It uses more pesticides. It kills more crops, more animals. The amount of harm that you're causing as a meat eater is tremendously more than any vegan is doing.
All right, but like we're not comparing who kills more animals to eat. No, we're not comparing that. If someone's vegan, then they can't even hurt one single animal. Otherwise, they're just hypocrites.
That's not what veganism means.
Then?
Do you see? You don't even know what veganism means. Veganism is
Totally.
not being perfect. Veganism is about doing what you practically can to minimize and reduce animal exploitation and cruelty. It's not about being perfect. It's about doing the best you can.
So you guys can eat something that hurts the animals, but it has to be slightly.
No, we do not intend to harm any animals. We shouldn't be intending to harm any animals. We should be eating crops. We should be eating plant-based foods and consuming plant-based products to the best of our ability. That's it. That's all it means,
Okay,
sir.
sounds good. How do you make sure that you get avocados from Mexico? How do you make sure that your avocados are always from Mexico?
You look at the label.
And do you have any avocados at home now?
Not right now. Do you have an argument though, sir? Do you have an instead of repeating what fucking Piers Morgan says on his BBC show?
Yeah, kind of, man. I want to talk about religion.
Okay, great.
Let's
What's
talk.
your best argument here?
I'm not here to argue. I'm here to debate two different things.
Debates require argumentation, sir. But go ahead.
So why don't you believe in God?
No evidence.
And then answer me with a question.
No evidence.
No evidence? You don't believe in anything?
I believe in facts.
Alright, sounds good, man. Nothing to talk about here. You have a very low IQ, and there's nothing that I can talk to you
Okay,
about.
okay. Bye-bye. I surrender. You have a low IQ. I win.
Yeah, hi. Sorry about that. But I have a question. I have chickens. 4 of them. And we just have them as pets, but they lay eggs. Is it morally okay to eat their eggs? The free-range chickens, they live their best life.
Yeah, this is a gray area. And again, no ethical framework is perfect or is black and white. As you know, I think this is a gray area where some vegans agree that you're fine. Me personally, I would say that I treat others the way I want to be treated. I wouldn't want somebody waiting for me to lay an egg or, produce breast milk so they can come and steal it from me. I think that's a little weird and strange. Is it morally wrong? I don't know for sure. I think it depends. But I would not partake in that in the first place. But again, other vegans disagree. But what's your point here? What's your argument?
I'm not against being vegan. I think it's very admirable.
Oh, okay, I understand that. But what is your argument against veganism? What is your argument against veganism?
There is no argument against veganism. It's the right
Okay,
thing to do.
great.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
No problem. I'm just trying to get to the arguments and debates, right? That's what people want to see. They don't want to hear me talking to people.
Can't hear you, bud. I'll come.
Because your TV is at 100% volume.
Very rare coin. Okay, awesome. Oh no, it's worse.
He's playing Fortnite. Beep beep boop boop bop. Beep boop bop bop. Beep boop bop bop. Beep boop bop bop.
How you doing?
Hey, how can I help you?
My argument is on the going vegan.
Okay.
Why do you think it is generally okay to eat plant alone and not meat?
Because plants are not sentient, animals are sentient.
But you fuck a lot of cows. No one says anything when you fuck the cows, don't you? You fuck them right in the ass. And that's not vegan, sir.
Jesus will laugh at your idea of burning in hellfire for eternity. Mikey fucker, I bet you suck vegetable dicks and get
Wow, she waited all that time to do that?
Hey, can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
What's going on, man? Hey, this is back on the vegan thing. Hey, I'm curious actually, what food, and if you could show us what food you feed your dogs.
I don't have dogs.
I thought you had dogs. I thought I saw a TikTok from you a while back from you having dogs, and you saw the no dogs. Okay. All right. Well, back on the vegan thing. Okay. So you think that it's okay for these bugs and these animals in crops to die on behalf of your diet, but it's not okay for me to eat meat?
Well, the difference is that you are intentionally harming animals that don't need to be harmed. And to me, I'm not intending to kill any animals at all. And by the way, you're making it seem as if I'm killing millions and millions of mice or crops. And no, I'm not. If we were to compare each other one by one, you're killing hundreds of more animals than I am. And
I don't.
by far, you're killing way more animals and you're doing it intentionally. I'm not.
No, I primarily hunt. But the thing is, think about all the bugs that are having to die. On an acre of land, there's typically around 400 million bugs on 1 acre of land.
Where's your source of that? Where's your source?
I've got it pulled up right now, dude.
Great. Show us a source that is 400 million bugs on 1 acre.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it logically too. If you think about an ant mound, like a fire ant bed, the average.
Okay, sure. Give the source. I'd love to see your source, and then show us why it matters. Because most acres are destroyed for meat eaters.
But there's still foods that are going to your
I
dietary
I understand that we have to eat something, sir. If we don't eat, we die. I don't want to die.
But
veganism doesn't mean we die, right? It doesn't mean let's starve to death because I might kill an ant. That's not what we say, right?
know,
What
but
we're
you're
saying
saying
is
that-
let's minimize cruelty as much as we can. It's very simple.
But
You're
you're saying-
maximizing cruelty. I'm minimizing it.
But you're saying that there's more value in a cow than there is a bug or a field mouse that is able to die
No,
for your
what
diet.
I'm saying is that I don't want to intentionally harm any animal. Period. You
Right, but
are. I'm
intent-
not.
But intent versus like you're saying that you're not intending to harm them, but they still die on your behalf.
Because I don't have a choice. Look, I don't have a choice but to eat what I have to survive. And if in the process some bugs die, I can't stop that. But what you can stop is killing and abusing cows in factories and in farms and hunting. You can stop eating. You can stop hunting. You can do that.
But
You're
one animal
intentionally
versus
harming those animals.
But one deer is less than the amount of animals that die for you to eat.
Yeah, this is another common argument. Oh, I only kill 1 deer a year. Well, you don't, okay? You probably go to the grocery store and buy other things. But even if we were to take 1 deer, okay, congratulations, you kill 1 deer. But imagine if every person did this on the planet. Okay, that's 8 billion deer. There's not that many in the fucking world to even exist to hunt. And then if we were to get to that number, guess what? It's still back to factory farm. We're still going to be back to factory farming because we can't handle that many animals. So again, no matter how you put it, hunting is not sustainable at all. It is not a good ethical way. You're just arguing for utilitarianism. I'm not. I'm arguing for veganism in the sense that there's an intentional aspect to this. We shouldn't see animals as food. We shouldn't view them as objects. Let's do our best to leave them alone. And on a global scale, this is the best solution, right?
But
Whereas what you're doing contributes to even more harm.
But globally, the cost for global veganism is outrageous. It's not sustainable from an import-export perspective. Like, there is no way that you can say that indigenous peoples in remote areas would benefit from a vegan diet when the cost to import food.
That's not what we're saying. We never did. I ever say we have to go to Sentinel Island and give them vegan foods? No.
Global veganism is the route to go.
No. What I'm saying is, veganism is sustainable on a global level. I never said that everybody has to go vegan tomorrow. What I'm saying is there are ways that we can make the world more sustainable as we're all vegan. It's possible to do so.
It's
It is
it's
not
not.
sustainable for the world to be meat eaters.
It is. It's
As
it's
we
how we're operating right now. That's sustainable.
And it's not sustainable because look at how many greenhouse gases this causes. Look at all the billions of animals we are harming. 90 billion. How the fuck is this sustainable? 90 billion animals, trillions of fish. We're stripping the oceans of fish. This is not sustainable. Species are going extinct.
Yeah,
How can you possibly think that this is sustainable?
No, and I agree. Like, I'm not an advocate for factory farming. I think the basis of your veganism argument is rooted in your morals and your ethics. But the fact of the matter is that animals still have to die on your behalf.
I never said they never don't die. They never die. I never
But you're
said
saying that you don't intend to kill them.
exactly. I don't intend to kill them, but I can't stop it.
Right, but they still, like, you're saying the death versus the killing are two, like, you're okay to justify.
Look, sure, if I intend to kill a cow, that's different than me intending to eat a carrot, but in the process there had to be a couple bugs that died. That is something I can't practically stop. But what I can stop is me contributing to factory farming, animal farming, and hunting. I can stop those ridiculous things.
So you're
and I can
okay.
eat the carrot.
You're okay with death happening, but not the actual process of killing.
No, you're not understanding.
No, I think I am.
I'm okay. No, you're not, because again, you're not realizing that you are intending to harm animals. You view them as objects. You view them as just things you get to eat. And I think that's wrong as a vegan, right?
So-
That's where we differ, right? And
So-
I understand where you're coming from, right? You're like, oh, I treat them well, I hunt them well, but at the end of the day, you're still taking the life of an animal. I would never want to hunt a person. Why would I hunt an animal? That's the point.
So you're saying that the intent is what matters.
Yes, the intent, yes.
So, I mean, I think that's not the route to look, or the route to go, because if you look at it through a different lens, you know, somebody that is drinking and driving and hits somebody and kills them, they don't intend to kill them, but the death still happens and they're still held responsible. Like, you should still be held responsible for the deaths of the animals that happened in your crop.
Well, okay, well, no, that's not true at all, because it is not my fault that the animals died at all.
People died for you.
It is the fault of the drunk driver that they got in the car drunk. That's their fault.
But it's your fault still, because that animal has to die for
No,
you.
because there is nothing about me buying a carrot that necessitates animals die.
It does.
I can't. No, it doesn't. There's something called vertical farming. There's something called organic
vertically
farming.
farm?
There's hydroponic farming, and yes, I do buy. Yes, I do buy those products sometimes, when I
All the
can.
time?
So, when I can, because they're quite expensive, but I do it when I can. See, the point is that vegans have a different attitude to this. We try our best to minimize cruelty. You're just going, let me kill and hunt whatever I want to. That's a difference.
That's not my approach by any means. I traditionally
great.
stalk and track, and I, harvest a limit that will be sustainable for me and my family.
Okay, congratulations, but it's not sustainable for everybody on the planet to do what
I'm
you're
not
doing.
talking
at all.
about everybody. I'm talking
Okay,
from.
great. So then what's this? Then what is your global solution?
I'm not saying I have a global solution. I'm
Okay,
saying.
great. So then that's the problem.
saying
That's
that
where we
my
differ. That's where
argument-
we differ.
I know,
You
but
don't
I
care
understand.
about the planet around you. I do.
No, I care about the planet
Sure,
around me. I'm
please,
saying
please
that.
stop. Please stop. Please stop. Look, it's very simple. I care about the world around me in a global way. You don't. You just care about yourself and your
I
little.
never said that I don't care about that.
Okay, great. So then, if you did care, then you would be vegan, because
No.
veganism is better for the globe, for the population of the earth. It's better globally.
I'm saying that I'm doing my part in not supporting factory farming to a certain extent, just like you're doing as much as you
Okay,
can
but
to
you're
vertically
still
farm.
intentionally harming animals, right? You're still causing an animal to be killed. Thank you so
You're
much.
causing an animal to be killed.
I'm not intentionally doing it. You're
But they're
intending to
still
kill the
dying.
animals, though. I'm not
they're still
intending for
dying.
that to happen, right? It's
they
just a
still die.
byproduct of nature. It's a byproduct of producing crops.
But they still
I can't
die.
stop it. I can't control that.
So, but why is it that you are better in that you aren't killing the animal, but it's still
I'm not
dies?
intending. I'm not intending to harm them.
But great intentions. right? But they are still dying.
Yes, I don't intend to harm them. You do. So what justifies harming animals intentionally?
For sustenance, and you tell me because they're still being harmed intentionally to clear them from your fields.
You can sustain yourself on veganic foods. And if you
Why
really
do they
wanted
still
to,
die?
if you have the ability to buy guns and to buy arrows and a truck and gas to get there, you probably can afford, I don't know, farming or getting farm foods, getting, things around your local farm market. There's no reason for you to hunt. I think there are reasons for you to do better.
I still don't understand why it's the intent of the animal, or the intent of killing the animal.
That's what veganism means. It means we don't intend to harm anybody and we try our best to reduce and minimize cruelty. That's all that veganism means. It doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean we stop all cruelty or stop all deaths ever. It means we try our best.
But they still die, and that's okay for you.
It's not okay for them, sir. It's just something that has to happen. I don't like the fact that animals die, but if I don't eat crops, I die, right? I can't stop or control what happens in farmers and whatever the farmers do when they grow crops. I can't stop that. They are justified in protecting their own crops to feed me. There's a justification there. There's a secondary layer of justification that they have, because we have to feed ourselves first and foremost. But we're doing it in a way more sustainable way for the globe.
But you also aren't farming yourself, and
I agree. If I could, I would, but I can't. Right? Again, veganism means I do what I can. I do the best I can. That's it.
And I'm doing the best I can by only taking enough animals.
You're intending to harm, and you're not taking into account this intentional aspect to hunting. You're still intending to kill a deer. That to me is something wrong.
But the farmer is intending to kill the animal on the crop to feed you.
But again, that is a justified reason. They have to eat to survive. You don't have to kill the deer to survive.
And what about
plant-based food?
And what about in a situation like, wild hogs in the state of Texas are invasive, right? They take out about 25% of all crop in the state. You have to exterminate wild hogs to allow people to eat vegetables and grass.
It's actually funny because the wild hog problem is, or meat eaters' problem in the first place. They're the ones who caused the wild hog issue. They imported them from other countries like Spain.
What?
Because they wanted. Yes, wild hogs is.
Show me the report on that. Give me the study on that.
Look it up. Feral hogs in the United States come from Spain. They were imported here. They're invasive.
Javelina?
What?
Are you talking about javelinas?
Feral hogs.
Okay, so what is a feral hog? Explain that to me if you know so well.
They were imported from Spain.
That is inaccurate.
No, it is. If you're in America, are you in America?
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Yeah, they were imported from Spain a few hundred years ago, right? The Spaniards came and imported them because they wanted to get their meat. They wanted to farm them. That was not that vegans are against that, right? So, but that's just a side point. The main point here is that, yes, I understand that wild hogs are here, but we should exhaust all non-fatal solutions before we start shooting them like barbarians. Fencing, contraceptives, all kinds of things we can do before we begin shooting them like barbarians. That's all I can support.
But it's not barbaric if it's to allow people to eat the food that they need, like that they are
shooting. No, again, you're shooting these poor animals. Like, right? People have entire games, right? They go around, they shoot the duck. That's ridiculous. There's no reason to shoot these poor animals or pigs. Let them be. You can reduce our populations by exhausting certain solutions that are non-fatal.
So
that's what we should be doing first and foremost before we start shooting.
Okay, that does not solve this problem. So you're saying that we should the reason that they are overpopulated is due to lack of controlling the population, right?
And we can control their populations in less fatal ways, in non-fatal ways. We do that first, and if for some reason it's necessary to kill them, maybe you have a justification there. But again, we should exhaust all the non-fatal solutions first. That's what a vegan would do.
So in a situation where, because it sounds like at some point, I wish you would grow your own crop, and I wish you would actually get into that because it's something that's incredibly difficult. So
I understand it's hard to do, sir, and that's why I think farmers are justified in protecting their crops.
okay, so when you do this, are you going to then take the life of these animals if it comes to that point?
What are you talking about?
You just said that farmers are justified in taking the lives of the animals that are being invasive to their crop. So
Again, why do I have to repeat myself 1,000 times? I would try as hard as I can to exhaust the non-fatal methods before I shoot them.
Okay.
That's it. That's what I would do.
Then
So it seems like all you're doing is trying to, ask questions. What's your argument today against veganism?
arguing that because of your basis in veganism being a better, the basis is morals. If you were to actually do the things that you have to grow your own food, there is a point to where you would get that you would actually have to do the extermination of animals on your own.
Not necessarily. Again, not necessarily. There are ways we can farm without killing animals. I can farm on my own property. I can have fencing. I can do anything. I can try as hard as I can to minimize cruelty. That's what I support. I don't know why you keep trying to argue this point. It's a non-point because I don't support killing animals if I don't have to. And I think there are some justifications if all other options are exhausted and you have no other choice. But we don't. But most of the time we have other choices.
So you would take the life of an animal if it was invasive to your crop.
If there was no other option I ever had, yes, of course, there's justifications for that.
Therefore, you're no better than me. And you're saying that you are because you don't take the lives of animals right now, but you have to.
Stop. When did I ever say I'm better than you? What I'm saying is veganism is more better. I'm saying veganism is better. Stop. I'm saying veganism as an ethical stance is morally superior because veganism does not intend to harm animals. You do. You do intend to harm animals. I don't. That's why I would say that veganism is a better method because it would entail a better world in the long term.
But you just said that you would have to intentionally harm animals for your vegan diet.
Under current scenarios that was, by the way, caused by meat eaters in the first place. Don't you understand that meat eaters have caused the problem in the first place?
And so then you would have to solve it if you grew your own food.
Yes, I would have to solve it. That's the situation I'm under.
Okay. That's it there.
Okay. Okay.
You would take the lives of animals for you to eat food in your backyard and grow your own.
Sir, if you came to my backyard and started eating my crops, I would harm you. I would harm a person because I'm justified in protecting my food. It's my fucking food. I gotta survive. I'm not gonna
on my ranch. It's justified to take the deer off of mine because it's my food.
But the deers don't fucking harm you.
Yes, they do. They get into every shop that you have.
You're just shooting them. Sir, you're just shooting them and then eating them. You don't have a farm.
I do. I have a ranch in East Texas. We grow corn, we grow millet, we grow sorghum. Like we grow these foods that deer are invasive in.
Okay, so then what I would ask you then is, are you doing fencing? Are you exhausting all these other non-fatal methods first before shooting the deer?
Yes.
What are you doing? What have you done to minimize the population of deer around you? What have you done to protect your crops?
We've got fences. We actually have a high fence on about 30 acres of the land, but at the same time, there's also a lot of laws in different areas around what you can and cannot fence in. Also, you can't take the life of the deer out of season. So that's another factor that goes into it.
Okay.
So it's
how many, so every single deer you kill, or they were trying to eat your crops?
No, not at all. But they're on my land, and you just said that if it's on your land,
oh my gosh, so there you go. You're killing them for no reason. If they were trying to eat your crops, I would say that's justified. But they're not trying to do that. So you're killing them for no fucking reason. And you have a farm where you can grow your own crops. So you should be vegan.
Again, though, but you're still saying that.
I had enough of that. I had enough of that.
So with climate change, I just want to know, like, logically, how is that even possible? Because everything on the earth, like, there's no new material on the earth. I mean, other than asteroids, how can we ruin the climate with things that are already from the earth, like it was already here. And don't
We
plants
are,
breathe carbon dioxide and then produce oxygen? So it's like more carbon dioxide,
we,
plants should thrive.
we are not, we are digging up fossil fuels from the ground, and then we are
Right.
burning them in our machines and then factories, and it's going into the atmosphere. It's producing greenhouse gas emissions. We are the ones causing the warming of the planet because we're digging up stuff that was there in the earth and then burning it. Okay, the burning process is the problem, and that's what's causing the climate change. And yes, plants consume carbon dioxide. Yes, they do, but to a certain degree, it's to a certain threshold. But also, they only sequester so much carbon dioxide. They don't sequester all of it. So, in fact, most of it, up to 90% of it, doesn't actually get sequestered by trees because most trees are not mature. So, planting trees and growing all these plants, it's not going to solve the problem. The problem is we're emitting so much that the problem is exacerbated, and we got to stop that.
Right. I'm just saying, like in a greenhouse, plants thrive. So if the earth is like all the plants outside and we're emitting greenhouse gases, wouldn't the plants thrive in a big greenhouse and then produce more oxygen, in which we actually live in a higher oxygen percentage? Like we actually have a higher oxygen percentage in the air because of this?
The Earth is not a greenhouse. The Earth is not a controlled greenhouse. A greenhouse has specific conditions where you can control for and you can grow these plants. But on the Earth, we have something called survival. Natural selection takes over. We have competing trees and different species, invasive species competing for each other. So when you up the carbon dioxide levels, certain trees will react differently, respond differently. And that's why a lot of plants are dying. We see a lot of species extinctions because of our increased carbon dioxide. And now we're seeing more certain plants growing that others have now died because of the increased carbon dioxide. So the greenhouses are controlled. The Earth is not controlled. Okay, we are literally running this crazy experiment on the planet that in entering territories we've never entered before.
Okay. I mean, it just seems like they would absorb the carbon dioxide.
Only mature trees do, not the other trees. You almost absorb zero. Okay. Thank you for being here, guys. Appreciate your time and your support. I had enough. I reached my threshold of nonsense today. Veganism is privileged. Absolutely not. The privilege is the person who sits there and says, I get to slaughter and abuse and be cruel to animals for no reason other than I like the way they taste. That's privilege. The privilege is pretending as if you're above everybody else and you get to harm animals no matter who they are. That's privilege. It is not privilege to be vegan at all. In fact, it's cheaper to be vegan. It's not, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be, all you need is a bit of courage and empathy. Something you don't have. Opinions on aliens existing on other planets. Well, the universe is vast. Probability of aliens being existing I think is very good. I think that aliens are at least in microbial form are very common. I think that the process of life beginning is something common, should be common. I mean, the ingredients of life are all around us in the universe. We found amino acids on space rocks and other planets. So I think that life should initiate very frequently in the universe. Now, intelligent life is a different story, right? Intelligence, look on Earth, it took us, 4 billion years to get to this moment. It took us 4 billion years of evolution to get here, to get humans. The first species to travel to the moon and other planets, right? So that's a different story. And considering how long it took and how many things had to happen for us to be here, the probability of another human species out there is probably small, I would say. But again, given the number of planets out there, I mean, there's more planets than grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth combined. That's a lot of planets. And I have no doubt that somewhere out there, there's an intelligent being, perhaps even more intelligent than we. Perhaps they're here already watching us. Who knows? What do you think happens when you die? You rot. And nobody cares about you anymore. Oh my God, that's terrible, Mike. Why would you say that? But it's true. You don't care about people that died. I mean, do you remember anybody that lived 2,000 years ago? Can you name me one person that actually lived 2,000, 3,000 years ago? No. After a while, it doesn't matter, right? And nobody should be worshipped forever. That's ridiculous. I think that eventually all people will be erased from history. Everybody is erased from history eventually. And you can cry about that. You can go, where? God, save me. Or you can go, wait a minute. Let's do something worthy. Let's do something amazing with the short time we have here. Let's make it great, right? Let's be the ones that leave a legacy that lasts some time, right? Let's do something. I'm not too concerned about my afterlife because I'm so in love with the now life, right? I love this one so much that the afterlife doesn't bother me. I'm not fazed by it. I don't care about it too much. I just live my life and I do things. I want to be so enthralled with this one. I want to bask in this life so much that I don't even care about the afterlife. And that's such a strong position to be in, right? Like, imagine loving life so much that you don't care about anything else. That's amazing. Your mind isn't so muddied up by all these ideologies and afterlives and expectations. You just live, right? You just fucking live. You don't expect an afterlife. You don't expect a God. You don't expect spirits. You don't expect ghosts. You just live your life. That's such a freeing thing to do. There's nothing like it to just be you, just be. Not tethered to anything, no ideology at all. That is so freeing, right? Just bare bones existence. To some people that sounds sad, but to me it's so freeing because I just live my life and I love it so much. It's hard to describe, but it's like when you're expecting something and it doesn't happen and you get disappointed. Well, if you stop expecting things, you'll never be disappointed. That's kind of analogous, but not totally, because I do still have expectations. They're just not tethered to something magical. They're tethered to my own life. So my life is basically a race against myself. Can I do these things? Can I help these people? Can I change the world? Can I leave a legacy? Can I do something great? Can I invent something? Can I write a story? Can I write a book? Can I express myself freely? I'm competing against myself. I'm racing against myself, and we all are. We're all living our own lives, having our own experiences, and that's incredible on its own. Let alone the fact that we can do things. We can actually do something great. It's amazing. Just imagine if we all had that experience, had this precision. Just imagine if we all recognized how fragile we are, how delicate this life is, and how finite it is. I mean, just imagine, how would we really see each other then? How much better would the world be if we all recognized how finite we are? How precious every one of us are. Imagine if our ancestors didn't think that, oh, because you're this color, that means you're lesser than me. Imagine if we stopped the racism. Imagine if we stopped slavery. Imagine if that thought didn't even come across us because we were so understanding of each other. Imagine if we just took the time to understand each other and really think things through. All that suffering would be avoided. That gets me sometimes, right? Thinking about all that harm that we cause each other out of our ignorance and fear. The same thing. Two aspects of the same thing. Fear and ignorance. Two versions of the same thing. So, yeah. That's why I encourage learning, because it always leads to progress. Learning about each other always leads to progress. Always. It never fails to learn.